Duchenne muscular dystrophy is the most common lethal genetic disorder of childhood today. It is a progressive muscle disorder affecting approximately 1 in every 3,500 boys, or 20,000 babies born each year worldwide. The disease causes loss of muscle functions and independence. There is no known effective treatment or cure currently for Duchenne. In 2001, one mom whose son Jett has Duchenne formed the Jett Foundation out of Kingston, Mass. To help find treatments and a cure, as well as advocate in government for needed legislation. A breakthrough drug now in human trial was discovered, but the journey to get it to all the needed children has been an uphill battle. We met another mom who has 2 sons with Duchenne. One son was eligible for the human trial, one was not.
My boys were diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy when Austin was 3 and Max was about 3 months old. The boys were diagnosed at a time where there was a lot of information coming out about Duchenne. The gene had been discovered, there was a lot of hope, but that hope sort of petered out for quite a few years.
I couldn't run around as much as other kids my age. Now I'm in a chair, so I can't do all the other things that most kids can do, and I need help getting in my bed, getting in the shower, getting on the toilet.
You know that Duchenne kids don't get better, they get worse. There are a lot of differences in progression, but they don't ever get better. I became aware of something called exon skipping at one of the conferences, actually an Action Duchenne conference in London. And I met some of the companies that were going after exon skipping to correct the type of mutation that my boys have.
Before now, there wasn't hope for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. There were no treatments identified. So recently, just this past year, a company in Cambridge, Massachusetts called Sarepta Therapeutics began having discussions with the FDA down in DC about getting a drug pushed through an accelerated pathway out to those boys who could benefit from it. The drug is called eteplirsen, and over the last 2 years it has proven successful in 12 boys who are now in a human clinical trial.
Max was lucky enough to be one of the 12 children selected for that trial. Austin was not a candidate for the trial because the trial required a 6-minute walk test, and at that point Austin had already been non-ambulatory.
The drug provides a read-through of the chromosomes on a chromosome that produces the protein called dystrophin. So it reads through a bad exon, let's say, and then produces a truncated dystrophin.
About 16, 17 weeks into the trial, I started noticing some differences in Max, that he was not choosing to use his manual wheelchair as much. His hands seemed to be stronger, his grip strength. He was doing things like opening containers, not fatiguing, and that only got better.
I knew the drug was working when I saw my brother running around more and being able to keep up with the other kids easier.
Currently, the boys are on week 80 of taking this drug, and they all appear to have stabilized. Our message to the FDA now is that it's of an urgent matter to get this drug out to all the boys who are amenable by it.
Max is a different kid. At the time that he started the trial, he was entering school using a handicap bus, a lift, a manual wheelchair for most of his day. He was starting to collapse and fall a lot, and now he's walking to the bus stop with his almost 6-year-old brother James, and he's climbing onto the regular school bus with the other kids carrying his backpack, but he is no longer using a wheelchair at all. It's been in our storage unit. We've been here over a month. We haven't taken it out of the unit.
I'm happy for my brother when I see him running around because he has a drug, and there's a good chance that I'll get the drug too and be able to walk and be able to be as strong as I am right now and be able to stay, be able to still go to the bathroom by myself.
While we are incredibly grateful that Max is in the clinical trial and lucky and doing better, and really, you know, this is a life-saving drug. We're also incredibly anxious because his brother Austin is 14, he'll be 15 in December, and desperately needs to get started on this drug. You know, Austin's a pretty able 14-year-old, but we know that that's not going to stay the same. This is the type of drug that stops the progression where it is. So we want Austin to be able to continue to have the abilities he has, to maintain his upper body strength, maintain his respiratory function.
There's never been a more important and hopeful time to donate to Jett Foundation. We need funds to advocate for this drug. Advocating for this drug will not only help Jett, thousands of boys like him, but it will also create a platform that has never been there before for rare disease. 30,000 Americans are affected by rare disease, and drugs are great, but if we don't have an accelerated pathway to get them out to the people who need them, that's really what's important here, and that's what we're fighting for.
We're trying to use Max and all the things that he has shown everybody about this, that the drug deserves approval, and that boys like Austin and Jett and others are waiting, and we need it to not take as long as it has been.
I want to be a wheelchair vendor, a mechanic, a mechanical engineer. I want to do psychology.
We know that the drug works, and it's really hard to just be patient and wait. And so we're not just being patient and waiting. We've been really advocating and hopefully shaving time off this. And even if we can shave days, it'll make a difference.